Good evening, and I welcome you students for another important and amazing session. Last time, student, we have told you a very important theory which was proposed by Dalton, Dalton's atomic theory. So Dalton basically laid the foundation of the theory of atoms, that matter is made up of atoms. Atoms is the smallest particle, which he said can take part in a chemical reaction and cannot be created or destroyed, but can be exchanged in the chemical reaction. And also Dalton theory was important because it was able to explain the important laws of chemical combination. The two important laws. Can you tell me which two important laws was studied by Dalton, after which he gave his proposes Dalton's postulates or Dalton's atomic theory? Which are the two laws?
Law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion.
So students, these two laws which were there were proposed by which scientists? Which were the scientists who have given the law of conservation of mass and the law of definite proportions?
Lavoisier and Proust.
So after Lavoisier and Proust have proposed and performed experiments to show two important laws of chemical combination, Dalton was able to put forward his theory which could explain these laws of chemical combination very correctly. And that was the beginning of the atoms. And we know today that atoms have subatomic particles, but at that time, 1808, you can see that matter is made up of very tiny particles called atoms. Atoms are indivisible particles, cannot be created or destroyed, and atoms of a given element have a definite mass. That was very important point, that atoms of a given element are identical and have mass. And different elements will have different atoms and their masses will be different. So this is a very important point. And also that atoms combine in definite ratio to form what they call as compounds. So the element and compounds idea was also clear from this. And interesting things is that when you form a compound, the relative number of atoms are constant in a given compound and they are present in a definite by mass, proportion by mass. All right, these are some of the Dalton's atomic theory. And the most remarkable concept that Dalton was the atomic mass. Now scientists have found that yes, there are atoms which are indivisible, so they want to know what is the atomic mass. Different atoms, you are saying, will have different atomic mass. So how do we find the atomic mass of the these atoms? This was an important question. And each element is made up of one type of atom. And for example, if 30 elements are known, Dalton has given the symbol of these elements also, as you have seen, like spherical and carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen symbols we have shown in the previous lectures. The question was, can we determine the mass of an atom? Different atoms will have different mass. But the point is the atoms are very small and the mass of atom is very small. So that is a big problem. So how do we get these atomic masses? That question was very difficult. So what they were trying to do, they were using laws of chemical combination in order to get the relative atomic masses. They said if we cannot determine the exact atomic mass, relative atomic mass is that one element is heavier than another relative. So relative atomic mass is not the question. So for example, if they react with carbon and oxygen to form carbon monoxide, experimentally they observed that 3 grams of carbon combines with 4 grams of oxygen. So most important point they were trying to get, student, that the mass of atom cannot be determined exactly for what they were trying, student. Scientists were prompted to measure atomic mass of an atom, since determining a mass of an atom was a relatively difficult task. Why it was difficult? Mass of an atom is very small.
Yes, sir.
So how will we determine? That is a problem, student. Therefore, determining the mass of individual atom was relatively difficult. How will I determine the mass of an individual atom. Difficult. Very, very difficult. It is very, very difficult because it is very, very small. Therefore, what they did, they determined the relative atomic masses. That one atom is heavier than the other relative to this, how much. And what tools they have. If you want to determine anything, you should have tools to determine that. Now the story is different. We can determine the masses accurately, which has been done for the mass of carbon-12 has been determined. But at that time, how will they determine the atomic mass? What they did, for example, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is formed from which? Carbon and oxygen. If I say carbon and oxygen, they combine to form carbon monoxide. This is formed, student. This is a gas, supposing this is full. So if they react carbon and oxygen to form carbon monoxide, experimentally, what they observed? Experimentally, student, that 3 grams of carbon combines with 4 grams of oxygen. What they found? 3 grams of carbon combines with how much? 4 grams of oxygen. This was found experimentally, student. What it means? 4 by 3. That means, in other words, carbon combines with. If I say 1 gram of carbon, then it will combine with 4 by 3 gram of oxygen. Okay? Carbon combines with 4 by 3 times its mass of oxygen. So now we are talking of relative atomic masses, students. If we define the atomic mass unit as AMU, AMU means atomic mass unit, and now we use only IUPAC uses what symbol for this? Only U, mass of an atom. U symbol is equal to, it is now written as U as equal to mass of 1 carbon atom. Then we would have a sign atomic mass of 1 unit, okay, to the oxygen atom mass 1.33. If I am talking of relative atomic masses, what do you mean by relative atomic mass? That I assume the mass of one atom. Supposing I say that the mass of carbon is, supposing if I assume, student, mass of carbon to be 1 U, assume, I am saying assume mass of carbon to be 1 unit, then according to this, what will be the mass of oxygen? 4 by 3, which will be 1.33 U. So this idea was used. What idea was used? They were doing chemical reactions in order to get the relative atomic masses of the elements, because there was no other machines or tools available to them. But these fractions were coming, and they decided fractions are not convenient numbers. So they were looking for some convenient numbers, students. What they were looking? Convenient numbers. Numbers which are convenient. Which numbers are convenient to you in everyday life? You are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. So these number looks to be very good to us. So they were looking for something called whole numbers or near to the whole number, something which will be near to the whole numbers, because they are easy and simple and convenient. So we were trying to find a relative atomic mass scale which will give us some whole number, students. And you know the story now. What is the story? The story is known that today, you know that in 1961 there is a International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. What I'm talking? 1961 IUPAC, student. What is IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. What they decided? They took carbon-12 atom as a standard. Carbon-12 atom was chosen as a reference for the relative atomic masses of other elements. In which year I am talking? 1961. Before that, hydrogen has been used, oxygen has also been used, because most of the compounds were formed by oxygen. They found most of the elements combined with oxygen. But in 1961, there are reasons why carbon 12 was chosen, because the carbon 12 is a carbon has 3 isotopes. The carbon 12, the atomic number of carbon is 6. It has 6 protons and 6 neutrons and 6 electrons. And C12 isotope of carbon has a mass of 12, which has been determined also experimentally. It is almost a complete whole number. So they chosen carbon 12 and is very stable. The atomic mass of all other elements are determined by comparing mass of their atom with mass of carbon 12 atom. And this carbon 12 atom mass has been determined experimentally. And one atomic mass unit is defined as exactly 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon. I'm saying the mass of carbon 12 has been experimentally determined. And one atomic mass unit, or 1 U. Now 1 AMU is written as 1 U only. And that is equal to 1/12th mass of one atom of carbon. I am saying one atom of carbon. Why? Because the atomic mass of element is relative atomic as compared to the mass of carbon 12 as 12 units. The mass of carbon 12 is 12 units. And I say 1 unit will be equal to how much? 1/12th the mass of the carbon. So relative to this, we are finding the masses of other elements. That was the idea of what we talk of atomic mass unit. Or they will ask you a question, what is atomic mass unit? So what is, student, atomic mass unit? And the symbol I am saying is U. 1 U. 1 U is atomic. The mass of atom is made in terms of atomic mass unit, which we are representing by U, and is defined to be 1/12 the mass of atom of carbon. And this has been determined experimentally. The mass of one atom of carbon comes out to be how much? 1 U is how much, student? 1.660538921 into 10 minus 24 gram. So you can see 1 unit is how many grams? This is a very small number, yes or no?
No, sir.
And important point is, student, the mass of an atom consists of mass of the nucleus plus the mass of, so the atomic mass unit is exactly the same as mass of the protons or neutrons. If I have an atom, student, we know today that atom has protons, it has neutrons and electron. These are the subatomic particles, we know about it. If I say the mass of atom, what it means, student? Mass of proton plus mass of neutron plus mass of electron. That is what it will mean.
Yes, sir.
And mass of electron. 3 things. If I add these students, I will get the mass of atom. But mass of electron is very, very small as compared to this. So we neglect the mass of electron and consider this to be mass of proton plus mass of neutron, which we call as a mass number. We will explain to you in the coming lectures, which is not the actual mass of the atom. The actual mass will be consist of all the 3, but this is very, very small, mass of electron. Therefore, we assume that, okay, mass of the atom is mass of the proton and mass of the neutron. But as you can see, the 1 unit is very, very small. And which we are saying is 1/12 the mass of the carbon atom. What is this? 1/12 the mass of C12, student. So we are going to devise a relative atomic scale. Interesting thing is, if I take a number which is called Avogadro's number, we will explain this in the coming lecture. What is that number? Avogadro's number. Avogadro was a great scientist. To honor him, a number has been given, Avogadro's number, as 6.022 into 10 power 23. This is also called 1 mole in chemistry. The mole concept is very important. We will explain to you. Why do we use them? If I multiply this number with this, student, what will happen? You multiply this number with this 1.660538921 10 minus 24 into 6.022 into 10 power 23. Can you tell me what number you will get if you multiply? You can take approximate values, doesn't matter that you don't have to use so many. You can take 1.66 10 minus 24 into 6. So if I take 1.66 into 6 approximately and 10 minus 24 into what it will be? How much it will come? 1.66 into 6, 10 minus 24 into 10 power 23. How much is that? Students, multiply. How much you are getting? Ten minus 1. What value we will get, student? 1.66.
0.996.
0.996.
Yes, sir.
996. 1 unit. And if the mass of carbon is 12, mass of carbon is 12 unit. 1 unit is this, what will be 12 unit? This is the mass of 1 unit. Okay? 10 minus 1.66, 6 in 10 minus 1 gram for 1 mole, for 1 mole. And if the mass of 1 carbon atom is 12 U. If I multiply this with the 12, what will happen? What you will get? Almost 12 gram. 12 U is converted into 12 gram.
Yes, sir.
You can see 12 U is the mass of 1 carbon atom. Mass of 1 carbon atom, student. 1 carbon atom I am saying. And 12 gram is the mass of 1 mole of carbon atom. 1 mole of carbon atom. 1 mole will contain how many? Important point. This we will discuss in the coming lectures when we will use a mole concept. So U has been converted into gram. Grams are more convenient numbers to be used in for calculation, students. I am used to 1 gram, 2 gram, 10 gram. Okay? 12.5 gram.
Yes,
so it will be good to convert U to G. By instead of 1 atom, we will take 1 mole. Instead of 1 atom, we will take 1 mole. 1 mole will be how much? 6.02 10 power 23 particles. I will explain this idea later on. But right now, what our purpose was that what is the importance of atomic mass unit? After the Dalton's theory is given, the scientists were interested to find the atomic masses of the elements, and a relative scale was chosen, and which is the element which is chosen as standard carbon-12 in 1961 IUPAC. And based on that, you can see how small is the atom and how small is the mass of 1 atom. 1 atom will be written as U. When I will use 1 mole, I will write grams. So students, there is atomic masses of few elements are given in the books. Atomic masses of few elements are given in the book. The relative atomic mass of is defined as the average mass of an atom. Another important point now I want to mention. What we are talking is relative atomic mass of the element. Relative to what? Tell me. Relative to what, students? Atomic mass of element. Relative to which element?
Carbon-12.
Carbon-12, which is given as 12U. Okay? Carbon-12. And 1 unit will be 1/12 of the mass of the carbon. The relative mass of the element mass of an atom of the element, mass of the atom of the element, mass of, okay, let me make it more clear. Mass of an atom of an element. Every element has an atom. Every element has an atom, which is different from the elements of other. Relative atomic mass of an atom of an element is defined as a student Average, now I'm using a word average, student. Up to now I've not used the word average. Average mass of an atom. Average mass of an atom compared with what? Compared to 1 by
Carbon.
12th mass of 1 carbon 12 atom. Now this is important point, student. Note it down what I'm trying to say. Here, student, I'm saying the relative atomic mass of an element is the average atomic mass of an atom compared with 1/12th mass of carbon 12 atom. This is a point to be noted. I'm using red pen for this. Can you tell me why do I use average atomic mass now? What is the meaning of why I'm talking of average atomic mass, student? You know why do we use the term average? If I can find anything exactly, there is a need of any average? No. And here average comes because, students, the elements have isotopes. We will explain to you what are isotopes in the coming lectures today. For example, isotopes are the elements which have the same atomic number but different mass number. We will explain when we, after the discovery of neutron, proton, and electron. Now, instead, carbon 12 is there, carbon 13 is there, and carbon 14 is also there. There are 3 carbons which have the same atomic number, but mass number is different. This is 6, atomic number 6, but mass number different. So here mass is 14, 13, 12. In nature, we know the abundance of these. Abundance. This is the most abundant. And these are present in very small amount. This is present in very small amount. But when I will have 3 of such carbon, one atomic mass 12, other 13, 14, then I will have to take average. Clear? Average, the value will not come to be a complete whole number. The average will not come to be exactly 12. But for carbon, it came to be almost equal to 12. That's why it was accepted as a standard. You will see in the books for Cl, they write 35.5 students. 35.5 U. What it means? That chlorine has got isotopes. And the average value, this is the average atomic mass. It is coming in fraction. Is it coming in fraction? Yes or no? It's not a complete whole number.
Yes,
And
sir.
later on, you will see the table of atomic masses, atomic weights. You will see there are, after decimals, they have given the values. So because these are average atomic masses, student, elements have got isotopes. Their percentage abundance is also different. According to that, it is a calculated relative to the 1/12 the mass of the carbon. Is it clear now that what is atomic mass unit and what
Yes, sir.
importance is this? And to make the life story simple, for the 9th class, we are giving the values of some elements and their atomic masses, which will be used by us in these calculations. That's why we are given. So here we have elements, students, and atomic masses. Here, as you can see, we have given whole numbers because actually later on you will find it may come to be 1.008, something like that. There is a, because this will be average atomic mass. Why? Because hydrogen has got 3 isotopes. How many? 3 isotopes. And if you know, you have heard about heavy water, you have heard about D2, heavy water, you have heard about in the nuclear reactions. So we say that 1H1, 1H2, 1H3. This is protium, deuterium, and tritium. They are all hydrogen, protium, deuterium, and tritium, student. They are the 3 isotopes of hydrogen. Their percentage abundances are different. This is a maximum. This is very small, very small. And if we will take the average, it will not come to a complete whole number. But almost 1.00, I say 1. So, or in the books later on we will see the exact values when you go to higher classes. And there is a table which has been provided. So carbon we are taking 12. Actually it is not exactly 12, but C12 isotope is almost 12. Nitrogen 14, oxygen. What are these, student? But when I write U means this is the mass of one atom of hydrogen. How much? 1 U. It is relative to 112, the mass of a carbon 12. And what about mass of one atom of chlorine? You see here 35.5. What is the mass of one atom of calcium? How much?
40 units.
40 U. And if I will show you in the mole concept later on, if I convert them into grams, then it will become the mass of 1 mole. 1 mole will have how many? 6.022 10 power 23 atoms of hydrogen. So if I have 6.022 10 power 23 atoms of hydrogen, which will be equal to 1 mole of hydrogen, then it will become equal to 1 gram. Then I write 1 G. 1 G is 1 gram. These are the numbers which we deal in our everyday life. So that is how we will use a mole concept in chemistry. Mole concept in chemistry in the coming lecture. We're going to tell you in detail. So this is some of the elements I have given. You can check in the book. There are all the elements, whatever are there, 118. You will see there is a table, atomic weight, silver, copper, gold, everything is given. So now we have understood after the Dalton's atomic theory that matter is made up of tiny particles, atoms. Atoms are indivisible. The scientists became interested in finding the atomic masses of the elements. At that time, the only way to find atomic masses was by doing chemical combination reactions, the chemical reactions. So relative atomic masses were determined. And 1961, IUPAC decided that carbon-12 be taken as a standard because it's very stable, and the mass of carbon-12 was found experimentally to be almost 12. So relative to that, the atomic mass scale were determined, and we talk of average mass of an atom as compared to 112 the mass of other carbon atoms. It is not actually the exact whole number, as I say. There will be some decimals per unit or some fractions coming out. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, I can sip water and say, oh, water heal me. Water heals us, students. All right, we'll make the lesson very simple, easy for you and understand. Pay attention, students. Here is here I have shown you some more elements for which we have seen. These are the symbols of the element. You know, the symbols of elements should be learned by the students. Symbol of elements should be learned. They are available in the book, student. B stands for boron, C for carbon, C L chlorine, hydrogen, lithium, nitrogen, oxygen. They are so important elements. You are aware of them. Silicon, sulfur, thallium. This little difficult. We'll see. Atomic numbers are given. We will explain to you what are atomic numbers in the coming lectures. And here are the atomic weights. Now here you see the picture 10.81. Well, why the numbers are coming? Hydrogen 1.008. Here, as you see, we are using 1 U, and actually it is shown to be for hydrogen. How much? 1.008. Why? Because these are average atomic masses. Why they are coming in fraction, students? Because there are isotopes. We have shown you isotopes. What are isotopes? Again, we will explain all this in the coming lectures. So here is just an idea to you. Sulfur 32.06. For our calculations, for our work in 9th class, we will be using almost all numbers. Oxygen, for oxygen you use 16 U. For carbon, I will use 12 U. For hydrogen, I will use 1 U, because these are important and very convenient numbers for us and very close to their actual values. Very close to the actual value. For Cl, we are using 35.5 U in our calculations. Clear? So some elements are very important, very common to us. We will be using more of them and we should learn them. All right, students. So we have a question for you students after learning all this. The first question before you is define atomic mass unit. What is the answer for one? What is atomic mass unit, students? How we have defined atomic mass of an element? What do you say? Mass of an atom? I will say mass of, okay, mass of an atom, or the average mass of an atom. You can say average mass of an atom, okay, compared to student 1/12 mass of
Carbon 12.
carbon 12 atom. And what is the symbol? U. We will use U as a symbol for this. Why is it not possible to see an atom with a naked eye, student? What answer you are giving?
Sir, because size of atom is very small.
Atoms are very, very small, and therefore we cannot see them, student. And can you give me what is the example radii of hydrogen atom? How much we showed you? Radii of hydrogen atom was how much, student?
10 raised to power minus 10 meter.
Okay, just to get an idea, students, sometimes we compare this, and you know, if I say the radii of an apple, 10 minus 1 meter. So just is an information, student, for us to understand that what we are talking about. So this you can see very, very small. So therefore we cannot see that. Can we see this with a naked eye? The answer is no. No, this cannot be seen by the, our eye is an instrument, student. It doesn't have that much power. Cannot see. Cannot be seen, even with microscopes or anything. Cannot be seen by the eyes. All right. Such, I mean, they are just logical questions, student. You already know about them. And when we give numbers, it helps us a lot in understanding that what is the difference. Very small means what? How small? This is 10 minus 1 meter, and this you can see 10 minus 10 meter. So how we can see them? Okay, you can see the apples, you can eat them. What is happening? All right, student, note down everything. Going for another important, amazing lecture going on. Try to understand everything. It's very, very interesting. What is a molecule, student? And what is the need of a molecule in chemistry? You know, if I say this is hydrogen atom, if I say this is oxygen atom, student, this is a nitrogen atom. Okay? These are the elements. And as we said, every element has its own atom, which is different from the atom of other. And we cannot break it by physical or chemical means. Can the atom exist as such? Now the question is, can atoms exist? Does it exist in nature? What do you think? Does H exist? H does not exist as such, but it exists as H2. H2. Now H2 has how many atoms? How many atoms are there in hydrogen? There are 2 atoms. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it is not 1 atom, but there are 2 atoms. Why it happened? Why it happened, student? Because this atom is not stable. This hydrogen atom, I'm saying hydrogen atom is not stable, student. And if something is not stable, therefore it does not exist. then what it does? It combines, or what we say in chemistry, reacts. It combines with another hydrogen atom. And it forms H2. This H2 is a molecule, student, is a molecule of hydrogen element. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
H2 is a molecule of hydrogen element. Similarly, I'm saying if I write O2, oxygen, this does not exist, but O2 exists. You know oxygen gas. Oxygen, you are aware of it. Atmosphere, what do you have? Oxygen gas. You don't have oxygen atom. So this is oxygen. This is a molecule of 2 oxygen atoms. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If I write nitrogen, student, it is a molecule of 2 nitrogen atoms. It is a molecule of 2 nitrogen atoms. If I write O3, student, O3 is ozone. It is a molecule of 3 oxygen atoms. Is it clear?
Yes.
But at the same time, student, if I write H2O, if I write, student, H2O, this is also a molecule. But here you have 2 hydrogen atoms plus 1 oxygen atom. They are different elements. Hydrogen is a different element, oxygen is a different element. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is what we say. They are compounds. They are molecules of compounds, and these are molecules of elements. We have shown 2 things. I've shown you molecules of elements, student. These ones. And what is this? This is a molecule. This is also a molecule, but of different elements, So here I've shown you molecules of compound, student. Is it clear? Note down everything. Every word is important. Every word is important. Note down, try to understand, because this is very important lesson. This is all the foundation of the chemistry for 10th, 11th, 12th. If we don't understand this, then it will be difficult. The symbols of the elements have to be learned. Students, I will talk about valencies. And so we know what molecules are. First thing I told you, molecules of elements. Molecules of elements means the same element can combine. Okay? 2 atoms of the hydrogen can combine to form H2, 2 atoms of oxygen combine to form O2, 3 atoms of oxygen combine to form O3. And these molecules of elements are constituted by same type of atoms. Same type of atoms. They are called molecules of elements. And student, there could be some elements which do not combine. Can you tell me, are there elements which do not combine? Are you aware of that? These elements, these atoms were not stable, they combined. This atom is not stable, it combined with another oxygen atom. This combined with another nitrogen atom. They are molecules of the elements, but there are noble gases. Now I'm talking of noble gases, student. Can you tell me any name of noble gases which you know? You have heard about helium?
Yes.
I'm saying helium is a noble gas, the symbol of which is He. This does not combine with another helium atom. It is stable. It is stable. And it is made up of only 1 atom of the element. Only 1 atom of the element. Similarly, other noble gases, argon, they are made up of only 1 atom of element. So what I'm saying, molecules of many such as argon, helium, etc. are made up of only 1 atom of the element. Note down, student, helium, neon, argon, there are more. Helium, neon, argon, this we will explain to you in more detail. These are the noble gases. And they exist as only 1 atom, 1 atom. They are not combining with another atom. Note down everything, students. Note down everything. Every point is important. Everything is important. Learn everything. All right. Now I'm going to talk of something called atomicity, student. Atomicity. When molecule will be formed, student, when molecule will be formed, what happens? Molecule can be formed between the same elements, or molecule can be formed between the different atoms. What is atomicity? If I say H2, student, how many atoms are there in this?
2 atoms.
There are 2 atoms. If I say He, how many atoms are there in this? 1 atom. 1 atom. Is it clear? If I say O3, how many atoms are present here, student?
3 atoms.
And this is called the atomicity. What is the atomicity of H2? 2. Atomicity of helium. This is our hydrogen gas, student. Hydrogen. Helium. What is the name of this compound? This molecule? Ozone. What is the atomicity of helium? 1. What is the atomicity of ozone? How many atoms? 3. 3. So atomicity is a total number of atoms present in a molecule, student. Note down. They will ask questions on that. So atomicity of an element is a measure of total present in a molecule. Example, oxygen contains, when I say oxygen, oxygen doesn't exist as, if I say, what, find the atomicity of oxygen. Now when I say oxygen, student, if I write oxygen atom is not existing, it exists as O2, then what answer I will write? It will be, how much is the atomicity of oxygen?
2.
So atomicity is 2 because there are 2 oxygen atoms. And when student atomicity is 2, it is called diatomic. Diatomic. Di means 2. What is this? 1 means what? Mono. Mono means what, student, in English? 1. Monoatomic. What will be 3? Triatomic. Triatomic. Is it clear? So we can use such term, student. And if I say, student, what is the atomicity of HCl? What is your answer? HCl is a molecule of a compound. It is a molecule of compound because there are 2 different elements. What is the atomicity here? HCl. What is your answer, student? What is the atomicity of HCl? How many atoms are there? 1 hydrogen and 1 Cl. 2. So it has 2 atoms.
Atomicity 2.
2. Okay. So there are certain non-metals which we have written here, non-metal. In the chemistry, student, we told you there are metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals. Metals, where they are located in the periodic table, we have told you there are certain properties of the metals: malleable, ductile, shining, good conductors of heat and electricity. And non-metals have properties like they are not shining, they are not malleable, non-ductile, brittle, all they do not conduct heat and electricity: carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, all this. When I say argon, student, how do we write argon? Ar. How many atoms are there?
1.
It is monoatomic. So I may say the atomicity, if I write here, student, in the paper they will ask you the atomicity of this is 1. Helium, what is the symbol of helium? He, student. Monoatomic means 1. Oxygen, how do you write oxygen? O2. It is diatomic. Atomicity 2. Hydrogen, how do you write? How much? 2. Nitrogen? 2. Chlorine, what is chlorine? How do you write chlorine, student? Cl2. 2. Phosphorus, but it means tetraatomic means what, student? What formula I should write for phosphorus then? What do you mean by tetraatomic? How many atoms will be there in
3
one?
atoms.
Tetra. What do you mean by tetra, student? 4. So what will be this? P4. Tetra. Phosphorus is P4, student. P4 means 4 atoms are there in one molecule of phosphorus. This is a molecule of phosphorus element. How many atoms? 4. Tetra. Sulfur is polyatomic, student. Polyatomic means it will have more than 4. And you know, sulfur S8 is known. If I write S8, what will be the atomicity? What is the atomicity here, student? How many atoms?
8.
So one molecule of sulfur has 8 atoms. 8 atom atomicity is 8. I'm saying one molecule of sulfur has 8 atoms, student. That is called atomicity is 8. So it is important. Note down everything, student. Note down everything. Very important. Note down. Atomicity questions are asked even in higher classes also. They will be important for note down everything. Okay, student. Just now we discussed the molecules of elements. Number 2, I'm talking of molecules of compounds, student. First, I discussed molecules of elements. When the same elements combine, what is happening? Same atom, same elements are there. One type of atom, same elements like H2, Cl2, O3, O2. What about molecules of compounds? When different elements join together. If different elements, student, different elements join together. For example, you know water, H2O. How many are there? Same elements?
No, sir.
Hydrogen is different, oxygen is different. So water is a molecule of a compound, student, of a compound. Similarly, I write NH3, student. What is this NH3 known as? Ammonia. And ammonia is a molecule of ammonia compound. You are aware of carbon dioxide, student? It is a molecule, carbon dioxide is a molecule of a compound of carbon dioxide. Because there are 2 different elements. Atoms of different joined together in definite proportion to form molecules. You know, in a compound, as you have seen the law of definite proportion, in the law of definite proportion, students, you have seen. What did you see? In a compound, elements combine in definite proportion by mass. For example, in water, how many elements are there? You have hydrogen and oxygen in water. What is the ratio by mass? Ratio by mass, student. If you will do experiment, you will find 1 gram of water and 8 gram of oxygen. This is fixed. If I take ammonia, student, the ratio is 14 grams of nitrogen and 3 grams for the case of NH3. 14:3. This is nitrogen and this is hydrogen in the case of NH3. And if I take carbon dioxide, then you have carbon and oxygen. What is the ratio? 3:8. This is the mass ratio, student. This is my compound, elements, and ratio by mass. This is a fixed when compound is formed. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So we have discussed with you, students, what is atomic mass. We have discussed with you what are the molecules of the elements, and we have discussed with you what are the molecules of the compounds, and we have discussed with you the molecules when they form the compounds, what they have. You can see that there is a definite, they are combining in a definite proportion by mass, as you have seen in the case of water, ammonia, carbon dioxide with examples. We have also told you what is atomicity. Important, they will ask you in the exam, will give you some compounds and will ask you to determine the atomicity of these. And next time we will continue more about it, and we will be talking about how to write the chemical formulas of the compounds, which is a very important, and a lot of questions will be asked there. And one more thing, student, before I close the session, you should know what an ion is. We have talked about atoms, we have talked about molecules. What is an ion, student? You have seen sometimes we say positively charged and negatively charged group of atom, one atom or more. For example, if I say Na, student, you will see Na plus. What is this? This is a positive charge on this. So this is a ion, student. And you may see chlorine, this is an atom. And you see Cl minus, this is an ion. But this has a positive charge and this has a negative charge. You may will see also if I write CO3 2 minus, student. So it is a group of atoms which have negative charge. It has negative charge on it. So there can be positive charge, there can be negative charge. This is what we call as an ion. Ion is a positively or negatively charged atom or group of atoms. A cation is a positively charged ion and known as a cation. It is formed by loss of one or more electrons. For example, if I say aluminium and I say aluminium 3 plus. Aluminium 3 plus, students. Let me make it easy so that you don't have any difficulty, student. 3 plus. This is a positive charge. It is formed by the loss of 3 electrons. So this is a cation. This is a cation, student, positively charged ion. And a negatively charged ion is known as an anion. It is formed by gain of one or more electrons. If I say chlorine atom is there, it gains 1 electron. This is an electron, student. It gains, student, then it can form Cl minus. This is an anion. Here there is a loss of electron, student. Loss of electron. So we will be dealing with atoms and ions also. Different type of ions. You can have one atom or you can have group of atoms losing or gaining the electrons. So we end up the lecture here and we will continue more next time, where we will be talking about how to write the chemical formulas with examples. That is going to be another important session. So I will meet you and see you in the next class. So I would say keep on sharing our videos and subscribe to our buttons so that you can get the recorded videos in the YouTube and forward it to your friends, and so that they can listen and learn science in very clear and easy way. Okay, bye bye. I see you next time.
Thank you, sir.